with breast augmentation. I want you to kind of stay tuned and pay attention because there's so many nuances and details, and I'm going to try to go through all of them as opposed to just simplifying it. Because many times people just say, "Oh, you have to have it under the muscle," or I work out really hard. I should be above the muscle," and there are kind of nuances to each one of those approaches, and we really try to tailor what that is for each patient. So let me tell you the pros and cons of being above and below the muscle. So the pros of being above the muscle is there's no dynamic movement of the implant. So when you flex your chest, you won't see that muscle move and squeeze the implant. That's one of the advantages. One of the small disadvantages is that there is a slightly increased risk of capsular contracture when the implants are above the muscle. We generally quote 1%, and it's probably somewhere closer to 2% when you're above the muscle. And so oftentimes for patients that have had capsular contracture, we take their implants from above the muscle to below the muscle to help prevent that from reoccurring. Another advantage of being above the muscle is that you can get some more upper pole volume or show. There's not a muscle there to flatten the top of the implant, and so you get a little bit more roundness to the upper pole. So in some patients that have a lot of skin laxity or loss of elasticity, that implant show can be beneficial for those patients looking for that upper pole volume. One of the disadvantages of being above the muscle is that if there's not enough soft tissue coverage, there's not enough fat on the top of the breast, you can have implant visibility or palpability. And so in someone that's not very heavy, that has very little soft tissue, we often recommend that they consider going under the muscle. Being under the muscle, you can still get some upper pole volume, though it's diminished slightly, cc for cc, when compared to above the muscle. And there's a lower rate of capsular contracture under the muscle. And like we said, the muscle can mask any implant visibility or rippling issues in very thin patients. Some patients have concerns that if they work out a lot and going under the muscle, that it sacrifices some of their strength, and that's really not true. I tell patients that many times if you look at fitness models where we're doing augmentation, they're very thin, have very little fat and very little soft tissue coverage. And the vast majority, we will put their implants under the muscle so we don't have implant rippling visibility or palpability issues. And they go back to compete in fitness competitions, and so they do quite well and can maintain their strength and go back to doing chest and push-ups and all those type of exercises that they like to do. So really, there's no real functional limitation from under the muscle. It varies from patient to patient on what may be their best approach. Sometimes we take implants from under the muscle to above the muscle to help improve the upper pole volume and show. Sometimes we take them from on top of the muscle to below the muscle to reduce the risk of recurrent capsular contracture. So you really need to consult a board certified plastic surgeon to really figure out what's right for you.